Good to be here. Always good to be here. Welcome to another episode of Matt's Art Chat. I'm Matt Mikuchi. On this episode, I speak with LAPKOVSKY, who is a photographer and creative retoucher, very much into creative projects about social awareness. In fact, one of his recent projects is titled Disconnecting Connection, and it went viral and revolves around the smartphone, our uses of the smartphone, how it's affecting our lives and how it's affecting our relationships with one another. And but we also talk about his formative years, many things about the art of photography and also the art of creative retouching, which is something that is really not discussed that much. So it was great to document his thoughts about it. And we also talk about his thoughts about how the internet and newer technologies are affecting our lives in general. So very interesting conversation. I certainly enjoyed speaking with Al, and I hope you will enjoy listening to our conversation. So thank you very much for watching, and without further ado, let's begin.
Hello.
Hello, Al. This is such a pleasure for me to talk with you. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm very good, actually. Hi, Mike.
Great. Despite everything that's going on in the world, it's nice to hear people are doing fine.
To be honest, nothing changes for me.
Oh,
I've been
right.
I've been thinking about it, and it's like, I've been freelance for 20 years, working from home office, not seeing much people, so nothing changes.
Awesome. I've been looking at your work all day and I've been totally immersed into it. I'm looking forward to just asking you a lot of questions about the themes that interest you, the ways in which you work and all of the different things that you do. But first, because this is the first time that we talk, I'd just like to start off with a very simple question. I know that you are in Riga at the moment, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Now, is that where you were born and is that where you're originally from?
I am originally from not from Riga, but from Latvia, and I was born in a small town, small town in Latvia called Daugavpils, and I was born there. But when I was 18, I moved to London. I lived there for 10 years, and then after that, we moved to Germany, lived in Köln for 2 years, then to St. Petersburg, and then we came back to Latvia. And I've been based here for last about 6 years, I guess.
You mentioned that you grew up in a small town. Do you think that sort of shaped your influences when you decided to pursue a career in the arts?
No, to be honest, I've started doing art photography in London. Before, I wasn't at all interested. I mean, I was interested in art, but I never thought I will become myself as an artist or photographer. So I was into sports when I was young, and I was running a lot and exercising. But then in London, I bought secondhand camera, and it's all started. So.
How old were you when you started in London?
About 19.
Oh, okay. So quite late by some standards.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and I got my first camera, started to shoot. I liked it very much, and I met my girlfriend. She was as well really liking photography, so we kind of started doing it together. And then I moved to Moscow for about a year, and I studied in Moscow photography, and came back to London, started assistant. So it's all kind of started naturally there.
And I want to go back to the moment when you decided to purchase this camera. Where did this urge come from?
To be honest, no idea. I just had some spare money first time in my life, and I wanted to spend it on something. So I was passing by. I think it was Streatham in South London, and it was some second-hand shop. secondhand equipment shop or something like that. So I saw that camera and thought, okay, I've got money, I can buy it and take some pictures. It was long before all these digital cameras and long before smartphones with cameras. So there was only way to take pictures and kind of preserve some memories.
So
but
it was an
I really
analog.
liked it. Yeah, it was it was film camera. Yeah.
And what pictures were you taking of these first photographs that you were taking?
I think it was straight away. I purchased some black and white film, and I was taking pictures just of anything I see, and had some nice shots actually. I would love to find them somewhere. I should have all these films somewhere in archives. Yeah. So. But it wasn't serious, but it was kind of interesting that I definitely remember that I wasn't taking snaps of my family or friends. I was looking for some inspirations and was trying to shoot some kind of artistic picture straight away. So that's, I guess, was good sign. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna use it artistically.
And so your style kept evolving until the point where you realized that you might be interested in studying photography. To me, that always sounds like a very big decision because I studied film at university and my parents were not happy about that.
Absolutely. My parents still not happy about that. But thing is, I was thinking of kind of, would be nice to know more about technical aspects of photography. So I was looking for some, I realized that I don't want to go to uni and study for like 3 or 4 years photography. So I wanted something kind of more, some courses kind of, to go maybe 3 times a week and learn fast way. But in London at that time, anything what I could find, it was like once a week for 1 hour late on Monday evening, something like that. And I thought, oh no, I want something more, kind of more information, but still in short period of time. So I found this, I think it was kind of Academy of Photography in Moscow. And they had 6 months every day for 6 hours, 3 hours theory, 3 hours practical. So it was great. So, and after that, and we started from beginnings and we went through large format cameras, medium format cameras, digital cameras. It was already introducing into our lives. So light and everything. So it was great. It was great experience and a lot of knowledge, but it was purely technical stuff. It's more like craftsmanship, not artistic photography, but more like photographer who can use cameras and lights, but not artist. And then I moved back to London and then started assisting and thinking of what I want to do.
So you think that your time at this academy was good? Like it was rewarding?
It was definitely because photography, at least I think, is kind of mixed of craftsmanship and art, and you need to understand your equipment very well. And it was very useful to me because after doing this, I didn't think about equipment anymore because it was so natural. You knew it inside out, and you started to think about what you want to say with your photographs or about your subject, not about how to take this picture technically. So it was great, yeah.
And during this time, during these, let's say, formative years, did you come across maybe some photographers whose works you found particularly inspiring?
Yeah, when I moved back to London and my girlfriend, she stayed in London, we spent every evening basically in Waterstones and in Borders bookshops, going through lots of books, photography albums and books about photography. And and it was, I wouldn't kind of mention, I guess I wouldn't mention any names because, I don't have anyone particularly like I like whole collection of images from one photographer. Usually it's more single images or some series, but at that time, yes, I spent a lot of time looking through works of our photographers. Plus, I was looking for assistant jobs in London, so I had to kind of familiarize myself with work of our photographers before applying for jobs, of course. So it was a lot of images to look at. And yeah, it was great as well. I think it's best you can do. You just look at our pictures of our photographers, and your eyes somehow adjusts, and you subconsciously you know how to take pictures because you saw so many great images yourself, and you know how to compose them already, even before you start doing photography yourself.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I love the image of you and your girlfriend on Waterstones flicking through photography books. That seems so romantic to me.
It was great time. Love it. It was kind of, it's always times even before, it wasn't before internet, but it was like 2002, 2003. So best place to see a lot of photography was bookshops because they had a lot of books on photography, and in internet it still wasn't so popular. Not everyone had website at that time, so it was really good way to see photography.
And we talked about photography now, but you yourself as a photographer, do you draw influences or inspiration from other art forms like paintings, films, or even music, or even sports? You mentioned sports earlier.
At some point, like I would say maybe 5 years ago, I decided to take a break, to be honest. And I'm not trying to look at a lot of photography. Somehow what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get my inspiration from current affairs, I guess, what's going on in the world, but not from other artists. I'm more interested now in life itself, and I'm honestly trying to ignore artists because I don't want to be influenced. It's difficult to explain, but at some point I just thought that it's not best way to. It's when you look at work of someone else, you being influenced by it, and I wanted to look at basically what's going on in the world without these filters of other artists. So it's kind of if something touches me, I want to go straight to the subject, not to look at how other artists work with this subject.
I understand that,
yeah,
but I understand that absolutely. Well, this prompts me to ask you two questions, actually. The first one being, is it difficult, though, to kind of not see these works? Because especially now in the age of the internet, I feel like we are overloaded with images.
Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah, we are. And I mean, I'm not hiding somewhere in a basement. I'm not looking at any pictures, but I'm not. And we got at home, we got a lot of books on photography, on arts, and sometimes, yeah, I can sit down and go through some books, but I'm just trying to not to do it too much. It sounds a bit strange, but yeah, it's for me, it's kind of best way to find these subjects to work with without influence.
Yeah. And another thing that I wanted to ask you about that is it because did you also want to take a break? Because once you find out how to, let's say in this instance, take photographs in a real sense and how certain things work, certain processes work, did you find that maybe you were a little disenchanted with the way the media operates or even art works?
I wanted to take a break, and actually I took a break because I started photography it was like 2001, and I was doing a lot of images. I was taking a lot of images for myself, like art, but also I was doing some commercial photography. I was doing a lot of interior work for magazines, and I was trying to break into advertising in London as well. But at some point, I just realized that commercial photography doesn't interest me in a way that I cannot express myself. And art photography, I wasn't kind of sure that I have enough to say. So at some point, like it was 2006, I decided let's still stay in same field, but I started to do retouching commercially for other photographers and for agencies, and I've done it for like 6 years, and then after the 6 years of doing basically sitting long hours retouching images for other photographers, at some point I realized actually I have to go back to photography, because now I've got lots to say and I want to express myself with my photography. So yeah, I kind of came back more full-time into photography, and last 3-4 years definitely I'm trying to shoot a lot, and that's very personal work now.
And during this time, while you took a break, do you feel like your style had evolved too, in a way?
It's still changing, to be honest. And it always was kind of darkish. All my images were very dark in terms of subject matter, in terms of emotions, in terms of even colors in pictures. And it's getting even more dark now. If you saw images on my website, it's kind of, I just recently rearranged my portfolio, and just one morning opened my website and like, oh my God, it's just all this dark bluish, dark brownish colors everywhere. It's just, but it's always, it's somehow what I like, and it's definitely my style now, and I'm really happy with it as well. It's kind of at what I was looking for. So but the retouching really helped me, because kind of understanding how you can not only shoot pictures but then post-produce yourself, it's really great. So it's always now I'm completely in charge of final result, because I create idea, think about it, I research it, I shoot it, I light it, and then I finish it with post-production as well. So it's really, really, I love this way of working. Then you're in charge of everything, and you kind of go through process 100%.
I actually did want to ask you about this, because some people may not know what it actually is, but for those who are not familiar with the term, how would you sort of define the role of a creative retoucher?
It's very important role, because any picture you see in commercial world, of course, in an advertising way, heavily retouched, but in art as well, a lot of photographers do use post-production to, first of all, the color grading is same like with films, for example, because when you shoot film, your raw file is very neutral, and then in post-production you put your colors in, you put whole mood of the picture, and it's very important, because when you look at the picture, all colors, all shadows, all lights, everything works together and give you this feel of the picture. So that's all done mostly in post-production these days. And it used to be as well in darkroom. It's kind of similar, because before digital age, we used to take pictures on film, but film was processed and then printed in darkroom. And in darkroom also you can make some area of the picture darker or lighter, or compose some pictures together. So it's all art of working with your images. So it's very important, and to me as well, it's very important, because I use it quite a lot, and some images cannot be done without post-production, because there's a lot of content together when you take something from one picture and something from another picture, combine it together.
It's kind of a type of collage, in a sense.
It is. Yeah.
It's interesting to me, because earlier you said that you realized that commercial photography wasn't for you, But this is a technique that essentially is associated with commercial photography, and you figured out a way to use it artistically.
Kind of, but I don't think so. It's only for commercial photography. For commercial photography, they use it because they want full control and they need to deliver results. So it's done only because of that. For artists, yeah, there's a lot of artists who never touch Photoshop. A lot of artists who use only Photoshop to create something. So it's your instrument. Yeah. So it's like brush for artists. It's one of your instruments. If you photographer, you got your cameras, that's your instrument, and Photoshop is also instrument. So it's more importantly what you're trying to say with your pictures, not how you do it. But to me it's very important. It's really helps me a lot because I can it helps in a way as well when it's you can create something with very low budget, because if you, for example, want to shoot some images in very nice interiors, for example, and you don't have budget to hire these interiors, you can go there with small camera, take some pictures, and then Photoshop your subject into that picture. So you kind of save money on by using post-production, or you can create something in computer 3D programs and put something which is not existing at all. So that's really good way of saving money while creating something really, really interesting as well. So.
That's interesting. So it allows you some versatility in terms of the devices that you use to actually take the picture, take the photo. Interesting.
Yeah.
So earlier you said that when you took a break, you wanted to figure out, one of the reasons why you did was you wanted to figure out what it was that you wanted to say. And then you felt like finally you had a lot of things to say. What were these things that you wanted to communicate?
I'm still looking for them, but right now, last like 3 years, I more and more drawn to some sort of kind of social awareness photography. Basically what I'm trying to do is, it's very important for me to talk in my projects about some social issues, but like in photography, there's documentary photographers who will travel to some hotspots in the world, like go to Afghanistan or Iraq to India and take pictures of starving kids, for example. I don't want to do it, but I feel that what we're talking about is very important, and I'm trying to talk about same subjects, but by using artistic photography. So I'm trying to always think about some projects where I can, by means of artistic photography, where you set up everything, talk about very important issues. And right now I'm working on a couple of projects which involves subject of modern technology and our society. I've done this project 2 years ago called Disconnecting Connection. And it's about how we use smartphones. And it went viral. And after seeing how this subject was important to a lot of people, I realized that it's a really good subject to work on. And I've got three or four projects right now, which I'm in production on same issue of like modern technology and how we use it, how we get addicted, and how some people cannot control themselves, and some people use it for good causes, some for bad. So it's interesting. That's what drives me. But my ultimate goal will be to kind of become photographer who works on a lot of different subjects, but they all should be kind of social awareness subjects. Any issue, any charity, any organization which works with some problems in the world, I want to be involved, and I want to use my photography to help and to bring this awareness to society. So that's my goal right now. I'm thinking of kind of creating platform for visual arts for social awareness. I call it. It's like working title for now, but that's what drives me now, because photography, it's beautiful, but it's not enough for me. I want to be, I want to try and bring some change to the world as well, kind of. And it's really nice feeling then, like with this disconnecting connection, for example. There's 1,000 and 1,000 comments online, and sometimes I just go and read, and it's just amazing how people react to it. And people writing emails saying, thank you for doing that, because I showed it to my husband, and we sat and talked, and he said he will think about using his mobile phone all the time, and he will put it down before going to bed, and so on. It's just like, yeah, people writing and saying, yeah, it's changed my life, and it's really, really appreciated. It's really nice.
Yeah. It's a fascinating series. I think that it also shows how sometimes art helps people talk about things that they feel, but they themselves are unable to express.
Exactly, yeah. That's the thing. That's as they say, picture worth 1,000 words, and that's sometimes it's if artists found a way to show some problem in a way when it's not judging anyone, but it just bringing this subject to discussion. That's great. And I think with disconnection connection, I managed to do it because a lot of people talking about it, and but in my pictures, I've really tried. I was preparing this project for 6 months. I was trying to find a way how to show this problem, but without pointing finger and saying, oh, look, these people looking at their screens all the time. And it was really difficult to find this way. But I hope I managed to do it, because it's important to me as well. So I don't want to be like, oh, look, you're baddie and you are goodie, and we I know what's right and what's wrong. What I'm trying to do is just to bring this subject up and say, look, I think we have a problem. Let's discuss it. And when it happens, it's really rewarding. It's really nice to see people start talking about it. And yeah.
How would you describe your own relationship with your smartphone?
Well, good question. Whole project started because of my son. He's 11 years old now. He was 9 then, and he's really hooked. He's really addicted. And we still have a lot of problems with that. And he's in one of the pictures as well. And plus, it was my girlfriend's mom died, and at the same time, and I saw how people couldn't find a way of saying, kind of, I'm sorry for your loss. What all she got all these messages with smileys and emojis, and it was so kind of strange to receive all this. And I thought, we have a problem here. We kind of generation who cannot talk anymore. We send messages, and we kind of cannot just go and hug each other anymore. So that was main points to start thinking about it. But yeah, myself as well. I mean, I love technology. I love computers, smartphones, everything. It's very useful. But I can see it's really, really, really difficult to resist not to pick up your phone every 2 minutes. That's the thing. So that's why I'm still working on new projects, trying to, on same subject, trying to talk about more and more. Because I honestly, I do think here's a huge problem. And a lot of people say, no, it's not a problem. And they used to say about radio and television the same, but I think here it's a bit more problematic. And myself, yeah, I'm guilty as well. Yeah, of course, yeah.
What are these other projects that you are working on? Are you able to share a little bit with us?
Yeah, sure. I've shot already, and it's actually I've got it on my website. It's another project called Homo Digitalis, and it's images of. It's just like portrait photography of whole idea of it was people from the future, like 10 generations in the future, and I was thinking that like iPhone here for when it was like 10 years or something, yeah. iPhone, first smartphone was invented like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
And
it seems like longer for some reason.
yeah, but it's all, yeah, I guess it's like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe 12, but,
Maybe more, yeah, something like that, yeah.
and in 10 years, it's managed to change society completely. And I was thinking how to show this mental change in people, because I can see how, for example, kids react when you're saying, put your phone down. Yeah, they start in like hysterical. And I can see how adults cannot communicate normally anymore. They need to pick up their phone every 2 minutes and they interrupt. You're talking to someone and then you understand that person not hearing you anymore. They're not listening because they're reading something on the phone. So I was thinking how to show this mental change, but mental change is very difficult to show in photographs. So I decided let's show it physically, and I done this project, and whole idea is you can see changes in people kind of in evolutional way. So their fingers become longer because they tap on a screen all the time for 10 generation, and eyes much larger because they always look at the screen, and mouth is smaller because they don't talk anymore. So basically whole idea of this project was by showing physical change, I'm saying that mental change will be even bigger. Even that's one project, and another project which is not published yet, but I'm shooting it, and I've shot like 6 images already. It's another thing about social media, and I noticed that for some reason, a lot of people, most of the people, share only good news and happiness, and never share anything which is not so happy, and never share problems, never discuss problems. So I'm shooting now these images of crying people, and they have a smartphone next to them. On the smartphone, you can see a slideshow of the photos of them, but happy, but you can see person is crying. And actually, yeah, you can see on the website, there's a few images of already there. And I ask people to tell me a story why they cried last time, in what circumstances, and they share the story with me, and we shoot these images and then publish them as well. So it's kind of, I'm trying to say that I'm really against making our life like advertisement, only happy moments. But it seems to be like this in social media, because people are afraid of sharing something what not so positive happening in their lives. And I think it's very wrong, because sometimes you feel so lonely. You got 5,000 friends online, but you cannot say I'm depressed today, or you cannot say I'm feeling down or something happened to me, because people expect happiness and nice pictures from holidays and so on and so on. It's just, yeah, I think it's good subject to discuss.
Yeah, that's I actually wanted to ask you this because I noticed that in some of your photographs you explored the family unit, and you being sort of a family man yourself, how do you feel like all this with the smartphones and the internet and social media is changing families?
A lot of people, writing to me and saying that if you read comments under Disconnecting Connection, a lot of people saying my family is ruined because of smartphones, because we don't talk to each other anymore. We sit every day on a sofa, we go to bed, and everyone is looking at smartphone, and it's kind of, that's strange. That's very strange, and that's what I try to show in this connecting connection, because it's this whole new technology connecting you to anyone on this planet, but at the same time, because you addicted to it, you ignore people next to you. In a lot of cases, that's true. It's just you just go to any restaurant, you can see so many couples sitting there, or some company of friends sitting there, and everyone in a phone. Why you go together? Why you get together, go to a restaurant if you still sit and look at your screen? And that's beyond my understanding, to be honest. I'm not against it, of course. I'm using it, and I think it's a very useful tool, but it just need to be kind of used sensibly.
It's interesting because, like you said, you are sort of using these new technologies to put your work out there. And I did want to document your thoughts and how you feel that the internet and new technologies have helped promote your work.
That's great. It's only way, I guess, and it's really, really, really useful. It's just a question of, fathers of internet, they were thinking, internet will make us really, really clever, and whole information in the world will be available. But suddenly, internet is becoming kind of dangerous thing, because there's not only useful information, but a lot of not so useful information. So that's need to be discussed and talked about. But all technology is great, of course. I'm using everything. I'm not against anything. It's just, to me, it's very important, hold this balance between your, let's say, real life and your virtual life, because there is still difference. Maybe in 100 years time, or even sooner, it won't be different anymore. But I think it's still healthy to just put your phone down and go for a walk and talk to your friends without distraction, without thinking who liked your image on Instagram.
Yeah. And right now, a lot of people are talking about the new normal. This is sort of a phrase that's going around a lot. Obviously, the art world is affected in this sense, because a lot of the initiatives are going online in terms of promotion of the arts. Do you think that the rise in general of the internet of recent years has decreased the importance of physical exhibitions of works such as your photography?
I still would love to be in a gallery, in a proper physical space where you can talk to people, stand next to each other, not 2 meters apart. But internet is great, of course. And it's kind of, it's ironic that I've published this Disconnecting Connection project about overuse of smartphones on Facebook, and it went viral, and right now it's like more than 5 million shares on Facebook. That's irony, of course, because it's not against Facebook, of course, but it talks about social media and addiction to social media, but it is shared on Facebook. But I think it's good, and internet helps a lot, of course, because if we are connected, and it's great. We connected, and we can talk to each other. You in Prague, I'm in Riga. We can call each other. We can call any place on earth. I can publish my new image right now, and I got people commenting from Chile, from Australia, from China, from Africa, from anywhere. That's great, because that's how it should be. I mean, we all live on the same planet, so this sort of globalization, I love it, and I think it's very, very important and really, really useful for humankind. So internet is it's a really good thing, But at the same time, I'm trying my best to ask people, let's talk about how we use it, and let's make best out of it, not worst.
And let's protect our art galleries.
As well, of course, yeah. But it should be physical spaces where you can go and see work and talk to each other, because especially with all this pandemic thing going on for last 3 months, I can see a lot of people who used to, my friends I know personally here, for example, who used to be in their phone, inside their phone all the time, looking at the screen all the time. Now they back for kind of go outside, to go to seaside, to go to the forest, to talk to friends in person. They just kind of realize. But I worried about as well, when everything is finished with pandemic and all restrictions are lifted, these people will go back to 24/7 to look at blue screen. That's my worry as well, because that's very addictive.
Well, it's been great talking with you, Al. Really, it has been fascinating. But I do want to ask you, if anybody wants to keep an eye on your work and any of your projects, what's the easiest way for them to do it?
Social media.
Yeah.
Social media, because I use it and I publish my images there. I've got website where I try to keep what I like most, but I shoot a lot, and I post images on my Facebook page and on Instagram as well sometimes. So yeah, that's best.
What's the name of your website?
Website is begemotphoto.com. It's very strange name, yeah, but it's Begemot Photo, and photo with F, not PH. So begemotphoto.com. And and same.
I'll spell it out. I'll spell it out there for the people. That's begemotphoto.com.
Yeah. And same for Instagram page, and same for Facebook, my photography page as well, Begemot Photo Photography.
I will make sure to leave that website in the description of whatever platform people are experiencing this conversation on. Al, it's been fascinating. We've been talking for 3/4 of an hour, but it has been great. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. It was great.